Hi there! Today's video is going to be about World Cup because this is a huge event nowadays, the biggest tournament where three best players will qualify for the candidates tournament, and in the round three great chess players including FIDE world champion Gukesh or Agiri and many others got eliminated, and the tournament overall is full of sensations, really like interesting players continue playing in the tournament, and some of the favorites got eliminated. And today we're gonna talk about one of such players, and this is Jose Martinez Alcantara, Mexican chess player who before this tournament was more or less famous of his successful tournaments during the Title Tuesdays, like online chess tournament on chess.com. After these tournaments, Vladimir Kramnik, negatively famous, I would say, former world champion, accused him of potential unfair play, and they had like some debates, and all of that resulted their match in person over the board, first in Madrid, then in London. Actually absolutely senseless matches, because I don't know what was the purpose. Nobody anyway was going to prove anything with these matches. But first match, Martinez won like 13.5 versus 11.5, if I remember correctly, and in the second match Kramnik took over like with a very small margin, like 19-17 or something. So as I said, matches like didn't prove anything, and Jose Martinez still like played pretty well in online tournaments, but offline his rating is like 26-44, and he plays at this World Cup in the first round. He started playing from the first round. He beat player with 2100, but then in round 2 he faced pretty strong Grandmaster Vladimir, who had approximately the same level with him, and after the huge series of draw, Mexican Grandmaster managed to proceed, and yeah, pretty fair continuation of the tournament for him. But in the next round he needed to face very powerful Nodirbek Abdusattorov, who last couple years have kind of rough like tournaments. He doesn't win that much, even though he's still 2750 and he's like pretty high, maybe not in top 10, but definitely around it. And as you probably know, Jose Martinez managed to move forward to the stage 4, but let's see how the game with Nodirbek went. We will concentrate more on round 4 and today's game against Sarana, who is his opponent who he faced. But in this game against Abdusattorov, what really was going on? It was Philidor defense, and it didn't go well for Jose Martinez. Abdusattorov didn't really know much of a theory, at least like directly, but at this moment we got opposite castled kings, and usually who attacks faster first and more successful will win. And right here Uzbekistan Grandmaster decided to play bishop c4, giving up an exchange, which was a pretty smart decision. Then he instantly started an attack on the king side, and personally myself, I thought that okay, most likely Jose Martinez is cooked. I don't know how he's gonna defend right here, but he managed to find some resources. He sacrificed an exchange back because this bishop was destroying the whole position of black, and g6 was a real threat. And right now this was the critical moment in this position, because white definitely ahead in the attack, and if they manage to successfully finish what they started, it's gonna be a game over. If not, black also has their chances with the pawn breaks. And in this game, kinda Jose Martinez got lucky because Abdusattorov chose poorly, even though still then Mexican Grandmaster played amazingly. Right here, Nodirbek decided that h6 would be a great pawn wedge to continue attacking. Let's say like after g6 we have a lot of like attacking options. Ideally we want to replace our pieces this way and try to deliver mate. Or we also threatening HG, followed by this mating attack. Instead, it was a lot easier to play G6, because you absolutely shatter pawn structure of the opponent around the king. You instantly act, your opponent cannot really run away from it. We have different maneuvers with the queen later coming in, but Nodirbek decided to play H6 because he had a concrete plan, and if you look at the time, you can definitely notice it. Abdusattorov has like 3 times more time than his opponent, but G6 was played, preventing the queen from coming in. Bishop E3, and by the way, what like Jose did right here, he played queen C5. Why does he do it? He wants to trade queens because he realizes he's under pressure, he needs to remove the strongest attacker of white. And after bishop e3, bishop d4, rook e8, maybe right here Nodirbek already realized that he miscalculated, but he still continued with the plan, playing queen f4, and when it's one move away from, having mate in net, here comes f5, which is a game changer because it completely turns the position upside down for black. Because right now, if white take on passant, because a smart chess player probably know about such rule, because pawn cannot really go with a double move without being taken when the pawn is on the 5th rank. After king f7, it's hard to mate. All the squares are covered, and this pawn is hanging, and overall, black is doing fine. There is no mate. I'm pretty sure, like, yeah, king f7 not the only move. We can actually just play queen d5. Probably it would be even easier. And that's exactly what happened. Queen d5. And after it, move by move, Abdusattorov just realized he doesn't have any attack. Trading queen for him is also not that good, because that pawn would be isolated absolutely, and this bishop earlier or later will go out and or trade, or yeah, this pawn will die eventually. And Nodirbek couldn't handle it anymore. Jose Martinez started attacking him, opened the king, pretty simple yet effective. And already it was impossible to defend. Here comes a really nice finesse with d5, creating a pin. And in the next game already Nodirbek tried with the black pieces to win, and the whole game it was not so far away from equality, even though the position was pretty dynamical. But Jose Martinez managed even to win this game because Nodirbek overpushed in completely equal position already, where he just needed to do a perpetual check. So that's somebody could say like lucky Abdusattorov missed it, but I really don't think so, because really nice counterplay. But Jose Martinez, he didn't flinch, continue attacking, applying pressure, boom, Nodirbek is out. And today he playing against another strong chess player, who is Alexey Sarana, who represents Serbia after 2022. Pretty good chess player, showing good results during European team championships and European chess club, if I remember correctly. And overall, we had our video before about predictions during the World Cup, who will win, who will not, and we actually thought that Sarana will will go pretty far. But after this game, I'm not so sure. So Sarana is playing white, Jose Martinez plays black, and for now it's Queen's Gambit accepted, which transposes to this weird variation. We are standing like in the middle of many possibilities, because it can be end Dutch, it can be end Slav, because c6 is a good mark of a Slav. It can still be some sort of Queen's Gambit and stuff like that. But this move order is pretty tricky, because it gives some additional possibilities for black. Black right now is threatening dc, and after cd we cannot get any like exchange Slav, because after ed this bishop can go out. So there are like 3 main moves. e4, which happened in the game, super sharp option, which of course Alexey went for because it promises white the biggest chances to win the game. e3, which I would honestly prefer, because it's like pretty calm, sorted play where white can push black and try to win and still surprise, which is more or less Miran variation. I don't know how exactly it calls, but I know it under this name. Or there is knight f3 move, which can, which again doesn't determine the position a lot, but I'm pretty sure Jose Martinez wanted after knight f3 to grab this pawn, and it transposes to some line. I don't know what's the name. I have a feeling maybe it's like not a boom variation, but maybe I'm wrong. Correct me in the comments. And idea of this line is that black trying desperately to defend the pawn, but if white plays correctly, black cannot really do it, because as your CB we're gonna win 2 pawns and material will be equal, and pawn on a5 is really weak. B4 playing, not really possible. You can pause the video and try to guess why, but I'll answer instantly. It's bishop b4 and there is the pin. And after bishop b7, bc, b4, bishop b2, this is the main tabia. There are a lot of, first of all, interesting games, secondly, a lot of theory, a lot of lines, and I would be just super scared playing this position for both white and black, because white clearly has an advantage in the center, which should benefit them. Plus they have a bishop pair, but if this pawn starts moving, oh boy, it's like it's gonna be really dangerous and very hard to defend. And like this is battle of concepts. Whoever plays better will have a better chances, but super sharp line. But I guess Jose Martinez here would be prepared well as well. In the game, e4 happened, and what's so dangerous? Seems like white gets space, black just has nothing. No, there is bishop b4 check, after which if knight c3, black can contest the center and position will be equal, so that's why bishop d2 considered to be the main option. And right now, what we've got on the board, white has bishop pair, white has better development, white has incredible bishop, dark squares of black are tremendous, but black has one pawn and potentially the second one. You can say, okay, what's the point of 2 pawns if you get mated? But not everything is that simple, because if white does not manage to mate black's king, we will have just 2 extra pawns and everything is just amazing for us. And yeah, it's like, prove me wrong. And after that, black didn't decide to take the pawn because there will be mate straight away. That's why everyone plays knight a6 attacking our bishop, where queen d6 would not make that much of a sense, because after knight b4 we're gonna lose the bishop. And here white needs to go somewhere with the bishop. In this game it was bishop a5, pretty fine square threatening mate in 1. As I understand, nowadays bishop d6 considered to be the main option, where black later can pick up the pawn. And lines are complicated. From my childhood, I remember in this position the move like bishop f8. And if you, I don't know, pretty low rated, your opponent could think, oh, like bishop is better than the pawn on g2, let's say. So let's try to take it, and queen d8. Of course, in the top level, nobody would do it, but the move is pretty funny to me. Bishop a5, it's still a prep of both players. After f6, idea is that queen d8 losing its sense after king f7, because we do not have any follow-up for our attack. Knight f3, b6, knight d2. Sarana is still in his book. He's attacking the queen, trying to get rid of the pin, and taking the pawn, for example, is very dangerous, because after bishop f3, the pawn on c6 falls, and this is a fork on 2 pieces simultaneously. And b6, yeah, shut down and attack the bishop, but on the other hand we cannot take the pawn on g2. So queen goes to f4, and right now pretty interesting play. Sarana still like, remember the theory, he plays bishop h5, and after g6 he goes bishop f3. You can ask, why do you give a check, improve the pawn, and then go back? It doesn't make any sense. It's like nonsense, what you doing, dude? The point is that if we play bishop f3, for example, attacking the pawn straight away, then after check, like it happened in the game, king f1 and queen c7 and bishop goes back, this pawn is not hanging anymore. So this little tiny intermediate check really weakens the position of black, because right now knight can go to e7, king can castle, later they'll play e5, black has amazing position. Instead, everything is not simple in this line, because after that, playing queen c7 is still valid, but after bishop c3, we cannot move the knight. That's why Jose Martinez plays e5. Sarana here starts a little bit thinking, but he plays the right move, knight e4, and here comes bishop f5, which is not a novelty. It was played in the corresponding games once, as I saw. Main move was king f7 before trying to evacuate your king to a safe spot. And that's a great preparation by Jose Martinez, because right now Sarana needs to solve difficult problems, which, spoiler, he didn't manage to. What's the problem? The problem is that if we give a check, which seems juicy, okay, we'll ruin the structure, but we cannot really get to the king, and we still down a pawn. And what happened in the game is that knight d6, king here, take, and then queen a4, trying to win the pawn, and white managed to win the pawn, but then got destroyed with a strong attack. We'll see how, because it wasn't over yet. The best move in the position was queen a4, which, if you don't know, kinda hard to get to, because it's a logical move, you attack in the knight, but check looks so tempting, it's really hard to stay away from it. Because after queen a4, knight b8, knight has to go back, which is weird, but what to do? And trade here, white also needs to find almost the only move, because if we play just rook d1 trying to continue our attack, opponent will just take, play knight e7, and his position apparently is safe. He's just gonna play knight d7, knight here, he will castle, he will be fine. So the only move for this reason is h4, which is, I mean, again, some alpha zero move. Every h pawn push is like usually associated with engine or prep. Not always, but yeah, in lots of situations. And the idea right now is that we can play h5 and the opponent is not in time to defend. He's forced to play g5 and light squares are pretty weak. So let's say the best move would be knight d7, and I guess this was the whole prep of Mexican Grandmaster. After h5 takes bishop g6 and let's say rook d1 or bishop b4, where we threaten a knight d6. After knight b8, rook d1 c5. Black is alive. Engine still prefers white slightly more, but I guess if I hit the deeper depth, it will be, of course, zeros, but right here white would have like pretty nice attack and initiative. Instead, Sarana goes for more direct and straightforward idea, which is knight d6. He takes right here and plays queen a4, not realizing that knight on c5 will create a lot of headache for him. Instead, what was better to do, it was better to limit the knight and threaten it later. At least the knight will not be active. Yes, we are still down a pawn, but the pawn structure of black is ruined. Playing e4 will weaken some additional diagonals, and we have a bishop pair, so two bishops can complement each other. It's hard to push pawns for black without being punished for that. Instead, queen a4 happened, and right here pieces of Jose Martinez go to the play instantly, and here was super important moment for Sarana, where he could pull himself out of danger. He played just bishop f3, and then the problem was that it's hard to figure out where to move the king. Instead, it was a lot better to play g3, and not the obvious move, honestly saying. Idea is that after knight e7 we can go to g2, and instead of trying to move our king to a safe place on g2, we can go to e2 to centralize the king, because it's an endgame, and then we can easily contest the d file and bishops can cover the knights. It should be pretty fine. You can, by the way, say that okay, we have a bishop pair, position is open on two flanks, everything is perfect, why we even trying to equalize? The problem is, first of all, our pieces are miscoordinated and black gained a lot of tempos by attacking white pieces. Secondly, knights have a lot of outposts such as d4, e4, some pawn pushes can create additional outposts and close one of the bishops if there is any need. In the game, bishop f3 happens, knight e7, b3 to prevent knight a4, because it could make or white to go like bishop b4 and give up a pawn, or create double isolated pawns, which is just truly horrible. That's why b3 happens, king comes to g7, and right now white probably could play rook d1, but I guess Sarana didn't like a knight e4 move of black, where after bishop e1 we can go knight c6, and knight is heading straight to the outpost in the middle, and both of the knights are amazing. Trading one of them will only advance black pawns and provide them with more space. So rook e1 was played, knight comes to g6, trying to sneak inside. Obviously white plays g3, but right now it makes both of the bishops weak. That's, by the way, why we couldn't play g3 in the first place, because this will be double attack. Now we have rook e3, which doesn't help a lot, because Jose Martinez continues with rook d8, saying, okay, take me if you can, like my other rook will come here and attack both of the bishops. Bishop e2, right here you can, by the way, pause the video and try to answer, be like a grandmaster, is it worth trading the rook or not? And I'm gonna continue. Answer is no. Why is it so? Because our rook is a lot more active than this one. This rook is cramped, and we will see how bad it can be for white. So black keeps both of the rooks in the play because they are way more active and they can do more damage than this poor rook surrounded by the pieces and almost blocked. Because right now, for example, if white plays king g2, here comes f4, and the rook is almost trapped after rook f3 here, or taking gf can be dangerous due to like knight f4, even gf, many possibilities available for black. In the game rook g1, exactly facing f4 idea, and even though it was still possible to play f4 and go for this position, and engine says that it would be slightly better for black, this is all kinda complicated, so Jose Martinez choosing the most human option, attacking the bishop. And later, if we remove the bishop, we can go to d2, and that's the ultimate goal when you have open file control. You want to get to the 2nd or 7th rank to dominate there, eat all the pawns like some Pac-Man, and yeah, that's it. That's the point. Bishop e1, knight d2 happened, king d2, f4 comes, taken of course nobody wants because again, too many nasty tricks, checks, attacks. Knight goes to c3, and here comes e4, threatening obviously f3. Sarana doesn't give up, he plays bishop g4, position is difficult, but he's looking for the best resources. And here rook comes back to d3, which right now kind of makes sense because we're a little bit stuck, plus our rook is hanging. So going to d6 will not give us much, but if right now white takes, which was probably the best option right now already, capture is available because we advanced a lot with our pawn pushes and we have an idea of playing f3, this bishop is out, this rook is out, and the best what white can hope for is this position, and I assume Sarana saw it, but if I honestly played myself as white, I would think that I'm cooked. It's like, what is that? This bishop, this rook, this king, these pawns are amazing, especially the one on f3. That's why white made the final mistake by playing rook c2, but it's hard even to blame white at this point. Of course, better was to trade to minimize the damage, but like after rook d3 position still looked disgusting. And after knight e5, bishop f5, here comes knight f3 with a massive fork. If like moving the rook, it's probably not really gonna help. Let's say we go, for example, rook here, we can continue with knight d4, for instance, and then if rook goes here, we have f3. Also, this is a double attack, it's like just terrible. So after bishop e4, knight g1, bishop d3, the problem is that after simple knight f3, two bishops are hanging, one of them will come with the fork to the rook, and yeah, Sarana played couple moves in agony, but this is it. Impressive game, right here, no luck compared to the game with Abdusattorov, where Abdusattorov could at least like create serious problems, and mainly initiative happened because of Jose Martinez play before, and yeah, it's like Abdusattorov played before. In this game, great preparation, great follow-up after the prep, because not everything was a prep. He increased the pressure, he played right, committed correct trades, applied pressure, and like utilized both of the knights perfectly. So great game, win with the black pieces almost guarantee you like go into the next stage, round 5. Because winning with black pieces against a strong Grandmaster who doesn't want to do anything but a draw, it's almost impossible. Yeah, there were some pretty interesting tries like FIDE versus Vaitasik, where FIDE went crazy and it almost paid off. And it's still possible to win for Sarana to come back because he's a strong player, but it's going to be extremely difficult. And before, Jose Martinez was in the situation where he won Abdusattorov with black and then pretty confidently hold the position with white. So I can only wish success to Jose Martinez, who's playing great tournament right here. And yeah, we will see how it's going to continue. And please comment and like the video if you liked it. Please share who do you think will win World Cup right now, because many strong Grandmasters got eliminated. Do you think Jose Martinez will go to the next round? How far he can go? Any opinion will be appreciated. And see you next episodes. Goodbye.